Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Rob. I'm back with another build. This time it is a 42-inch Korbanth Blockade Runner. This thing is like massive. It is a limited run kit, and I think there were like 15 or 20 of them in the first run, and I managed to get my hands on one, so I'm going to build this thing. I wasn't going to do a build video of this, but I encountered some issues that other people had, so I thought why not make a video and maybe I'll help somebody out that has the same kit, that is looking at the same things I am. As you can see, I'm like surrounded by parts, so what I'll do is I'll show you a close-up of the parts and what I found so far. I literally like just started working on this, so I don't have a lot of information right now, but I will continue to do videos to let you follow the progress if you want to check it out, and let me show you some close-ups of the parts and what I'm finding on a first glance, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I showed you the engine block from a kind of far away shot, but that's pretty self-explanatory. The only issue with this is that there was an problem with the masters where the corner engine mounts were kind of cast upside down, and there's this guy Ray Lawson who's building this, and he had noted this. I would have not seen it until I actually mounted the engines, which I didn't do yet, so I found out from him. You have to actually cut 1/8 of an inch off the bottom resin part here on each of the four corner mounts, and then add that 1/8 of an inch onto the top part. I did notice when I had put it down initially, it didn't sit right, but I didn't really pay much attention to it until I saw Ray's comment on there, and I went ahead and fixed that. I haven't puttied and sanded this stuff down yet to mold it in, but the engines should mount a lot better now when I get around to mounting them. So the engines, each engine it's two pieces that come together. Then you have these side pieces that go on, that glue onto each side, and then there's a cap here that covers. This is actually, let me show you. That's how it initially looks, and you put the cap on. I didn't pay attention to the caps are different, so there's different ones that go on the outside, and of course there's detail for the port and starboard that's different. So that's for the starboard side, and this is for the port side. And then when you lay them out, you have to think, well, they're going to go this way, but they sit better this way, just to eye them up, and I totally lost track of what side goes where. I just wasn't paying attention. So make sure you get this detail right. So this is definitely, different than this and this. So you have to pay attention to where the engines go, what detail shows on what side. There's two types of parts, caps. There's this type here with all this detail on it, and then there's this type, which is kind of bland. It doesn't have a lot on it, so you have to make sure you have those facing the right way, which I did not do. So I am working on fixing that. Also, there's some engine detail that has to go on there. There's some piping that I'm adding on top. I haven't added the insulation part yet, but this is in the works. And that's just wire that I used the wire that let me show you. A lot of use out of this stuff. This is the wire that people use to hang drop ceilings. You can get it at the hardware store, and it comes in. It's usually straight. It's easily bent. It's about, I don't know, maybe 2 millimeters in width, in diameter or whatever. Easily worked with, easily cut, easily bent. So I use this for a lot of stuff, especially fishing wires through models, which you can see I did with this one because there's tape on it. So probably be something good to have around if you don't already. Okay, so the engines, fair warning on those. Just pay attention, like I didn't, and you won't have any problem as far as where each one goes. The cockpit, the entire front section, it doesn't come with a cockpit, so you have to drill all this out, and these parts are they are supplied, these parts, these detail parts. So I actually removed the cockpit area, and I made my own cockpit, which is, this is actually designed and 3D printed in resin. I took as much detail from screenshots of the original model, and I kind of incorporated them into here. I haven't painted it yet, and I actually drilled holes. There's actually holes here for fiber that are in the part itself, and then there's holes here for LEDs, so it's nice and bright there when I can actually, detail it, install it. So that should fit nicely in here. I'm not seeing any issues with that. I don't know if you can see it, but that should fit nicely in there. And this other part here, this is like the main whole part, and it was actually painted when I got it. It was primered, which I didn't like, so I started sanding it, and the paint was kind of coming right off, so I just stripped the entire thing using acetone. I took the entire part down to the bare resin, and then what I did after that with all these parts when they were bare resin, this was the only part that was primered. So when I stripped all that off, all the other parts I had actually hit with a 99% isopropyl alcohol. This stuff you can't buy around here in the US. You can't buy it in the drugstore. You have to buy it online. They sell 91%. This is 99. I took a liberally with each part. I took like a chip brush, or like one of these, and I basically just covered the entire all these parts, all the details and everything else. I just covered with that alcohol, and then let it dry. I'm not taking any chances with paint adhesion. So some of these kits, they come with like mold release on them, and that can cause you a lot of problems. So I just wiped it all clean with the isopropyl alcohol, the 99%. Let it dry. After each part was dry, I used adhesion promoter on all the parts before I primered them. Now I'm not seeing any problems with paint adhesion. It seems like everything took okay. This part is okay. There's some pitting in here in the casting, and it's, there's like little holes in there, so I'm gonna have to fix all of that. I'm not sure how much of this seam I'm gonna have to fix, because there are parts that go along here, so it's not exposed. So most of this seam I will not have to fill in and sand. I'll have to rescribe some of the panel lines, I think, but that's, kind of expected. So that's it for now. I don't have anything else to show you guys because I'm still working on this thing, but I will continue to make some videos of my progress and let you know what's going on with anything else that you might need to look out for, and kind of consolidating what I hear from other guys that are building it, because there's probably like 3 or 4 other guys at least that I know of that are building it, that are experienced modelers, so they're posting fixes and adding details and stuff like that. So I'll kind of post them here just so you have one source for a lot of that info if you're not looking around already. So I'll see you soon, guys. Thanks for watching.